Hello, everyone. Boy, that's distracting. I have music playing that you guys can't hear. Let me turn this up, maybe just a little bit. Maybe you guys can hear it. Maybe. I mean, it's going to be pretty low. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. I like having music while I work, and I know a lot of other people do. I'm just still trying to figure out all the little nuances of incorporating music. People have thrown out some really great ideas. I want to play around with a few of them. I'm still a relatively small channel, so obviously, this is the time to experiment and see what people love. Hey, Geeky, how are you? All right. I realized as I was thinking through my week that Friday, I was going to try to make, and I might still make Friday my Purdy Nerdy After Hours day, so that I have a weekly podcast, which, by the way, I haven't officially announced it yet, but I did turn it into a podcast. I have an there's too many S's in there. I have an RSS feed. So that episode that we did last week is officially out in the podcast world. So my plan with that, because it is one thing that I can attempt to be regular at, is a Friday 1 hour chat, right? I thought that would be easily done. And I did it last Friday and I thought, all right, here we go. Fridays are great. They're easy. And then, hey, blank QZ. And then I realized I'm going to be heading to Lake Tahoe this Friday because of that Pink Floyd Laser Spectacular show thing that I can't remember if I told you all, but that's what I'm going to with my husband. So Friday, I can't do my chat with y'all. Well, I mean, I guess I could, but it would have to be super early in the morning. You don't want to see me like that. I don't want to see me like that. I don't want to chat with people first thing in the morning until I've had like a couple cups of coffee. So I might do it tomorrow. And that might be just like that might be my backup plan, is that if I can't do them on Fridays, it's either got to be the Thursday or Saturday after. There's enough wiggle room, I think, in my schedule that I can do that. And also, I'm like this close. Can you see? Can you guys see? Where's my camera? I'm bad at this. This itty bitty close to being an empty nester. And I feel like I can taste just how much time I'm going to get back in my schedule once that happens. But also, I'm afraid that, like, it's like that commercial with the guy chasing the $1 bill on a fisherman pole, and it's like, oh, you almost had it. I am afraid to want that extra free time so badly, and then find out that it's not a thing. It's not really a thing. People tell you it's a thing, but it's not really a thing. But I am really hoping that I will get some extra time, just some breathing room. I don't know that I'm going to add much more to my schedule. What I just need is some breathing room because I'm so close. I can taste how close I am to being able to write that novel. And I have all these projects I need to wrap up, and I'm going to have to come in hot. I'm going to have to come in real hot with these adventures that I want to publish because I have a timeline. I want to stick to it. If I can't start writing my novel by September, that's my ambitious goal, is I want to start streaming, writing my novel in September. Knowing that my son is I'm moving him into college in August. So there will be a transition period. And I'm aware. So September could be ambitious. October is my anniversary, and me and my husband will most likely be away for a bit at some point in October. And November is like that's the time when people start writing novels, you know? I mean, NaNoWriMo is no longer with us, but there are all kinds of writing sprints that happen in November. So November is my realistic timeline, and maybe what happens is September I start streaming like all the stuff to prep for November, outlining the novel, making sure I have a clear path to writing so that when I officially start writing, I'm off to the races. There's no, me staring at my screen trying to figure out what's going to happen next. I already have a path and I just need to type it out. That's such a novel idea. So, I Oh, sorry, I'm getting distracted by the chat. I didn't know that you actually ever allowed yourself to have free time. Coming from someone in the chat who knows me well. Yeah. Um I don't know why I do it to myself. It's like, oh, there's a pocket of free time. I could take a moment to myself, or I could do this thing that I've been wanting to do. And I don't, I'm a broken person, apparently. I don't know. So, all right, time to get to work. We're not doing a lot of chatting in this. This is co-working. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start my timer here. I have a writing prompt on the screen, somewhat related to what I'm going to be working on in this sprint. I made an official announcement on my social media yesterday, and so I'll make this very quick because I'm going to talk more about it tomorrow in my after hours. But I am officially attached to a collaborative project that I'm very excited about. It's called Fantastical Geographic. It is being headed by Devin Rue. If you think that name is familiar and you happen to be a fan of Critical Role, then you would be right. Devin Rue is the official cartographer for Critical Role, and an artist that has worked with them, I think, practically since the beginning. And so Devin Rue, I believe her company is Devin Rue Productions. Don't quote me on that. She does have a website. But I joined this collaborative group and collaborative project, and I'm very excited about it. I've talked a little bit about it, how I am going to be doing a monthly advice column from the perspective of a character that was inspired by my Filipino grandma and her unconventional wisdom. So I've already turned in my first draft article for the next month's issue. And now what I'm going to be working on is we have advertisements for real world things, but the advertisements are created in such a way that it can look in world in the magazine that is Fantastical Geographic. So I'm not going to talk much more about that. If you want to learn more about what Fantastical Geographic is, I'm planning to do a little bit of a walkthrough and show you all what it's about and what you get when you subscribe to Fantastical Geographic. I'm doing a little bit of cross promotion. I'm planning right now where the virtual MagmaCon that I'm going to be at in July, I'm going to help promote Fantastical Geographic and maybe potentially do some giveaways for Fantastical Geographic at MagmaCon. At the same time, one of the ads that I'm working on for this sprint is I'm going to put it in June's issue of Fantastical Geographic, an ad for MagmaCon. And because I am a proud sponsor of MagmaCon, I have a few free badges to give away. And I think I'm going to put that information in the next issue of Fantastical Geographic. So, if you know someone, or if you would like a free badge to MagmaCon, then go check out Fantastical Geographic. I'm going to go ahead and drop a link real quick before I get started. It is also, you may have noticed in my little ad reel thing where right now on my screen is Jones, but if you keep an eye on that little square, there is a little just a little teaser ad for Fantastical Geographic there in the corner. So go check that out. I'm going to talk more about it tomorrow, and now I am officially going to get started on my sprint. I'm going to get working on this ad. I also have a few day job things to button up so that I can get to the real creative work today. So, excuse me while I not burp in your ears. All right, I'm going to go to work. Let me know in the chat what y'all are working on. If you're going to stick around for this session, this 50-minute focused session, I want to know what you guys are working on and we'll keep each other motivated. All right, here we go. All right. Let me get over here so I can see the chat. And over here. All right. How was that session for everyone? I am, like I said, kind of playing around with music and what to do. So any feedback would be helpful to let me know. You know, music's too loud, music's too distracting. I like the music. Anything of that nature would be very helpful. During that sprint, I was able to submit the information for the ad that I was talking about, the ad that I'm going to hopefully put into Fantastical Geographic for June for free MagmaCon badges. Now, just because you have not yet gotten anything, you have not ordered, your copy of Fantastical Geographic, doesn't mean that you can't enter to win. I will set something up on my stream so that if you want a free badge to MagmaCon, you can also enter that via my stream. Am I ready for that yet? Not yet. So keep your eyes peeled, keep your ears open, stay tuned. I'm just gonna do this little jig because apparently that's what I do when I don't know what I'm gonna say. Yes, but I'm very excited for MagmaCon. I've been talking about this game that I have written up specifically for MagmaCon. It was inspired by MagmaCon. I'm pitching it as Tomb of Horrors meets 70s International Spy. And I'm so excited to kind of tighten up that adventure. It's got a very loose outline right now, and Doc has helped me to create a map, which, I haven't yet even dug into yet to see, if any changes need to be made to it or how I want to incorporate this. Tomb of Horrors, if you've ever played it, really lends itself to theater of the mind and really relies on the players to kind of map their progress themselves. Part of the adventure is, you were told that there were 3 entrances, this, here, and here, and here. But did you write that down? And then you've gone ahead and now you've, found that you're in a dead end and you need to turn back and you can't remember where those 3 entrances were or what they looked like or whether you've gone through it before. So some of that is part of it. And so I've been kind of considering whether I want to continue in that vein. Today's gamers, I feel, really appreciate having a map, and I don't know. I'm torn. I'm really torn. I'm leaning into this aspect of kind of nostalgia, and with that means I could run it the way Tomb of Horrors is intended to run, or I could maybe include like a very old school kind of looking map that's like pencil drawn with hatch marks and kind of lean into the nostalgia aspect a little bit. I don't know yet. And I'm so close to working on it. I keep saying that. I'm so close to all these things. Graduation is around the corner. Woo-saw, folks. I don't know if you're in this stage of life, but if you are, let me know because I need a support group for empty nesters or prospective empty nesters or just busy moms, or I don't know. Maybe that's what this is. I need a community, folks. All right. I did not start my 10-minute timer, so we're just going to assume that was, I don't know, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. I don't know. All right, so let's see. What's next? What's next for me to work on? I have to look at my tracking list. Now that I have submitted that piece to Fantastical Geographic. I have updates I plan to make to Twitch. I don't think it's probably safe for me to do that while I'm streaming. But I have okay, folks, I have a lot of plans. I have a lot of ideas. It is a struggle to rein in the ideas. If you were here for my conversation about Working Genius, invention is my like capital G genius, my capital I way up there. And so the ideas are just and it's really the discernment that I think is more of a competency and not a genius. My discernment to tell myself, Amber, you don't have the time for that extra idea. You don't have the time right now to incorporate this other idea. Hang on to that idea. Let it sit there until you're ready to tackle it. But in the meantime, I have more and more and more ideas just floating around and all this excitement that I can't get to because I have to be in the real world and actually finish something and get things done. So, my idea is I've been perusing the Twitch streams, the interwebs, to kind of see what other things I want to do. I mean, like I haven't done enough things already. I've officially started that podcast. I think I would like to have some guests on in the future. I don't know when that will be yet. I'm just kind of waiting for my discernment to tell me I'm ready. But I also really want to do, I saw a Twitch stream that they stream public domain movies. I'm trying to remember, I think it was like Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. That might have been the movie that was playing, or, you know, lots of the old black and white movies. And because they're public domain, you can do that. And it's so much fun. And this gal, I can't remember her channel. I'm sorry. I'm going to misquote it. It was like Mom with Wine or something. I remember her whole thing was she's sitting in the corner of her Twitch stream with a glass of wine. And she's just watching this public domain movie. And at the top of her screen, there we go. At the top of her screen and at the bottom of her screen, there's there we go. There's a banner that has all these commands in Twitch. Like, oh boy, I can't think of one at the moment. I don't know. I'm going to say like it's the command is iPunk. And if you type in the chat iPunk, then it will play during the stream a sound clip of some, I don't know, popular media where they're saying something about punk. And so it's almost like having the peanut gallery in the background of your movie watching experience. And people can just put in the chat commands that will play little sound clips. And so it's so comedic to have you and the audience put something in where it's like, why do I do this to myself when I'm talking about something and I didn't prepare for it? My brain just goes, and I can't remember a single sound bite from like any TV show or movie right now. Oh my gosh. But how fun would that be to just have a movie night and also just have the experience of a peanut gallery in the background and like, let's talk about it. And hey, because I'm a writer and a world builder and a storyteller, like, I don't know, maybe I could start weaving in like adventure ideas based off of what we're watching. Let's watch Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, which is like a horrible movie. I mean, horrible in that like the situation is horrible, let alone like it's just an old movie. It's a great movie, but taking these horrible situations and somehow flipping them into adventure ideas, or not entirely certain what the concept is, but I want to do a movie night. All that to say, the very long roundabout way to say, I want to do a movie night. And I think I want to do it as a transition and celebration of graduation is over. Welcome to my supposed free time that I'm going to get from being an empty nester. I don't know. So that's another thing I want to update on my Twitch at some point in the future. So still haven't talked about what I'm going to be working on in my next sprint. All right. So I think what I'm going to be working on tomorrow, because I'm going to be going to this laser light show on Friday, I'm not going to stream on Friday. So I'm going to stream an after hours tomorrow and a writing sprint, most likely. And so I need to put together my outline for the show for tomorrow. I'm going to probably there's going to be a big chunk about Fantastical Geographic. So I hope you join if you're very curious about what that's going to be about, and how I joined with the collaborative group. And I'm going to share all the artwork that's going in there. There is 100% no AI going into this project, which I'm extremely excited about, let alone the level of talent that I get to work with. They are amazing individuals. They are highly active and very productive. It's nice to be in a group where you can see that, the progress just it's almost like exponential because everyone has their hands in doing something. I almost feel like a little bit of a slacker, to be honest, in comparison to them, because I am stretched a little thin across a few different projects. So I'm going to put together my outline for tomorrow's show. That's what I'm going to do in this next sprint. And then I have some very long-awaited updates that I need to make to Farm to Table Frenzy, the map, and probably just thinking about the next playtest and the things that I'm going to change. I had a very good playtest. It was probably about a month ago, and some really good feedback. And from that playtest, there were two different ways that I could take this game to make it better. One includes just a minor incorporation of something so that players are incentivized to explore more of the game and the areas in the map. And then the second path was a complete redesign of the map. And since I have already given this adventure like a huge overhaul, I don't want just one playtest to really, I don't want to say derail, but I don't want a single playtest to drive such a huge change in the game mechanics. So what I'm going to do with this next sprint is I'm going to make the minor tweak, the first path, and probably give it a few more playtests just to see if that minor fix addresses the issue. If it does not, then I know that I really do need to do this full redesign. But boy, doing this full redesign just to find out that the first one just needed a minor tweak, let's be as thorough as we can be, right? So that is what I'm going to be working on. So I'm going to be doing some map making stuff, which is going to be fun. That's definitely not my forte, which is why I have Doc. I really appreciate him for that. I know enough about map making to be dangerous. I know enough about Incarnate to get a decent job done. I wouldn't even say a good job done. So, all right. We have about a minute left. What else? So my after hours outline, my Farm to Table Frenzy, V2 map, if you will. Oh, yes. And my short story edits. I pushed that off to the first week of June. But if I still have time in this sprint, then I can actually do some actual writing in my sprint, which is going to be really fun. So that's what I'm going to be working on. Also, June 1st, save the date, I'm going to be on Zero Exposition podcast, which is hosted by Go Indie Now. I was on their Zero Means You're Dead. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Zero Means You're Dead. So that was their gaming podcast, and Zero Exposition is their let's talk about writing podcast. So I'm going to be on their podcast on June 1st. I think it will be live. I'm going to find out if there's a live link. So, all right, let's get back into another sprint, 50 minutes. Um, if you are working, if you're working on anything during this sprint, let me know what that is. Um, I'm going to I'm going to get to this outline first. I think that will settle my mind a little bit before I work on anything else, so that tomorrow morning is not super frantic. All right, folks, here we go. Wow, folks. Hey, Geeky, you're back? Oh, maybe you're not. You were in for a minute. Bubble, bubble, toil, and trouble. Hey, folks. All right, let me get out of this writer screen and let me start my timer this time. Because habits. I gotta break that habit. I'm gonna start this timer. Folks. Okay. I started writing my outline for tomorrow. And yes, this is only going to be the second episode of After Hours, but I have a format. I wanted to make sure that from the get-go when I started this podcast that I would have a format to follow. And so I already knew what I was going to do for State of the Nerd. I already knew what I was going to do for Ad Hoc Hui. The community topic kind of fed itself. Essentially, something happened last night that I'm going to talk about that will be the community topic for tomorrow. So all those segments filled in very quickly. The very first segment of my show, though, is What's Lighting My Bulb? Things that make you go, interesting news, weird internet rabbit holes. And I struggled for a quick minute to... You need a timer too, huh? I struggled for a minute to pick a topic because I'm one of those folks where I really love the business side of what we do. And so I have so many different news funnels, and I'm connected to folks in the industry where when I see their posts, even if it's vague posting, my brain's like, well, what's that all about? Let's follow this rabbit hole. And so I love absorbing these little bits of news, and I very rarely struggle to find a topic that I think is newsworthy, air quotes. And so I was struggling to figure out, well, what topic is going to be lighting my bulb for tomorrow? And then it struck me that, and I don't want to get too far into it because I want to save it for tomorrow, but a friend of mine came to me this morning with a link and a potential, something that would potentially increase their business. And because I guess they thought maybe because I know people in the business and I, get all this kind of information fed to me, that I might know if this was a legitimate opportunity or not. And I didn't, not off the bat. And this morning I did a quick internet search and already found a few red flags. And because my current obsession, if you were with me on my last channel, I have this, my last episode, I have this current obsession with this YouTube channel where she kind of does her own investigative journalism and just talks on this topic to her boyfriend because he wanted to understand what was going on. And so I started looking at this approach for this this topic because the opportunity I truly believe was not legitimate, and I wanted to actually do some real research. I wanted to have some stats. I wanted to have some links available, not necessarily to like defame this person that did the outreach, but just coming from the perspective of a small creator, which I am right now, and I'm sure there's people who follow me who are, considered small creators. From the perspective of a small creator, like, how are you supposed to get ahead when you have scams coming at you left and right, and scams are getting a lot harder to detect? The more sophisticated technology becomes, the more AI is being used for things. If we are not able to keep up, especially for us who are, want to be anti-AI, and it's like, how do you stay pure and yet know enough to know that you're being scammed? Because there's all this technology getting thrown at you, and you're trying not to be a part of the problem, but you almost have to know, these things. I don't know. I'm already fascinated. It has lit my bulb. I've gone down this investigative journal pathway, and I started finding some things that I just cannot wait to share tomorrow, because you start going down these rabbit holes and it's like, how did this person even, like, how does this person even claim to be an expert? Find out tomorrow. Teaser. I don't know how people get away with this stuff. And maybe I think I'm a pretty trusting individual. I think I'm a pretty trusting individual, but even though, I will tell you, I rarely, I don't want to say get into bed. That's probably not the right phrasing, but like, I just rarely, I worry. When business is involved, I really worry, and I will stalk you before I make a decision. Even like, there are people who will friend request me, and before I even accept that friend request, just because the name is somebody I recognize and the picture is somebody I recognize, I go into that person's profile. I see if they've posted things. I see if other people have commented. I see how long that history goes. If you do not look like a real person to me, I just won't accept it. And that may mean that I'm actually filtering out real people on accident, and that could be. But I'd much rather that than the alternative. So I feel like I'm starting to kind of flip on these light switches inside that are feeling like very untrusting. And I don't even know if I'm making sense. I just feel like I'm really going down these rabbit holes with like a, really? Well, let's see. Oh, look, there's this link. And now that leads to this link. And oh, look, here's this stat that I found interesting. Yes, I am a stalker, apparently. So, that is going to happen in tomorrow's show. And now I'm so excited. But that segment is only supposed to be 10 minutes. So I thought that my writing sprint would be a very quick, like, I'm just going to jot a few things in my outline. It'll easily fill up an hour. And now I need to use that discernment of mine to whittle this down so I can be as concise as I can be in 10 minutes, maybe 15. But this can't be the whole show, as much as I want it to be, because I'm finding some really juicy stuff. I'm just going to have to present the juiciest bits and then leave it to y'all to do your own research. So anyway, gosh, am I going to do another 50-minute sprint? I think not. This has just been, it's starting to create its own pattern when I do these sprints, and it's working well for me. I think when I start doing my novel, I may do longer sprints, or I may do 2 sets of sprints in a day. I just need that little bit of a break to step away from the computer. I could be checking my social media while I'm doing these sprints. I could be eating on mute. Like, I don't know, do people want to watch me eat? That feels kind of weird. But like, there are there are things I could be doing while I'm doing these streams, but it just feels very, like, not the best use of, my tongue is dry, not the best use of your time. Is it the best use of my time? I mean, if I need food in my tank, yes, it is. Ask anybody who knows me. You don't want me hangry. But I just think that for the purpose of a productivity sprint, watching me eat, watching me go to the bathroom a million times, watching me check my social media, or all those things that I kind of need a break away from, y'all don't need to watch that. And I find that when I give myself this little break after, it's not 2 hours, it's 2 50-minute sprints with some chatting in between. But after giving myself this break, after giving myself a little food in my tank, I find I'm ready to focus again. And I just haven't done a second sprint in the afternoon, because I find that second sprint in the afternoon seems to be a little bit more scattered. There's somebody who needs my attention. All of a sudden, there's a phone call I need to take or a meeting I need to step on. I don't know. It's just hard. So right now, I think I'm just going to stick with this. With just know that there are plans in the future to do more. I want to have a movie night. I don't know if you missed that. If you're still here, Geeky, I want to have a movie night, dang it, with some wine. That's what I want. I'm going to do a stream if I could get my Twitch set up to do that. And some guests on my podcast once I've, found my rhythm and my pace. Which, I don't know how I'm supposed to find my rhythm or my pace when I keep adding things constantly. It's just an ever-revolving door of chaos in my life. Welcome to my chaos. All right, the timer is up. I think I'm going to leave you all for today. I hope you had a productive set of sprints. If you are around at about 10 a.m. Pacific tomorrow, I plan to go ahead and do my Pretty Nerdy. It may be 9 a.m. I don't know. It'll be somewhere around 9 to 10 a.m. Pacific, because I plan for my Pretty Nerdy After Hours to be an hour-long show. So I will see you all in the morning. Come join me. Find out what this drama is that I'm digging into right now with this investigative journalism. I'm also going to go over Fantastical Geographic tomorrow, and I have a fun community topic. So put your thinking hats on, because I'm going to give you a little teaser right now so that you can think about it. I want to know about the conventions that you have been to, the events that you have been to. Which of those are your favorites? Because I want to hear about it, because I have plans for 2027. Okay. Oh man, I missed it. Geeky, you showed off your disco chair. Okay, I'm going to have to go back and look at that. So everybody, hey, I haven't figured out how to do these shout outs on my channel yet, but go check out Geeky Broken Hoodie on Twitch. Wonderful, just stream in the mornings to wake up to and just have some positive vibes. He made mention of a disco captain's chair and being I don't know what kind of person I am, but I just was like, yeah, I can do that. Let's see if I can do that. And immediately worked on and sent a few versions of a disco ball chair. I am actually very excited to go see which version he chose, and you should be too. So you go to Geeky Broken Hoodie, Geeky English, folks. Take a deep breath. My brain. Geeky Broken Hoodie on Twitch. And I will figure out how to do shout outs. I'm putting it on my Twitch list. My Twitch to-do checklist to figure out how to do shout outs. All right, folks. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. I will see you tomorrow, Thursday morning, with an after hours, and then following with a productivity sprint. Everybody, have a lovely day. Bye.